Dude, I wonder if I spent so much time alone, if I would become crazy. Especially if you have no one to reflect to yourself back, like someone to reflect yourself back to you. It's sort of like a mirror. Like some people, if they have like a crush on you or something, and they try to, it's like a lot of energy directed at you, and they like don't even take care of themselves. It's like a mirror for if I had a crush on somebody, but similarly I didn't take care of myself before just like expending my energy to another person. And the other, I never really understood that before. Like, what does it mean to be a mirror? Like, that someone's a mirror for yourself? Like, you can see yourself in the other person's eyes? I think it's more of like a metaphorical thing. It's not like you could physically see yourself, your like reflection. But like, I was out to dinner with somebody who didn't really know how to be like kind of open about themselves and like kind of vulnerable about who they were. Like that kind of emotional openness. I mean, it's hard to do when you first meet someone, but it kind of reflected back to me, because there's instances where maybe I was like I really looked up to someone else, and it kind of scared me, or like just like caught me off guard, and I was afraid to be myself for whatever reason, or to show myself, or I don't know, maybe I was just like feeling tired that day. But I think that's what it means, where you could see like how other people, the things that you find kind of off-putting about how other people behave, you probably behave, it means you behave in the same way in the reverse circumstances. But yeah, I'm staying at this Airbnb right now in Taidong. It's Taitung, but it's pronounced Taidong for some reason. And I'm staying in this Airbnb. This is a lady, and it's her family house, and she's, I guess, the only one left. I'm not sure what happened to her siblings. But she's renting 3 of the rooms out, and it's not really, like, the bed is kind of small, and the rooms there's nothing really in there, but there's a lot of character to the house. And it is nice to live in a house. It feels like it has bones, compared to an apartment. Always kind of felt flimsy to me, because it's kind of like a makeshift place. But yeah, the owner took me to this bar close, like a 2-minute walk away, and they were playing there were people there. They were into the sound bowls and like singing and guitar and like other types of music. And one guy there was telling me he meditated every day at the beach. And they told me the sound frequency for the most peaceful frequency for the human ear or the body, it's 432 hertz, which is interesting because the train limited express from Taipei that comes to Taidong, it's the 432. There's no way that's a coincidence, right? They like did that on purpose, I think. But yeah, if, say, I stayed instead in a hotel and I didn't talk to anyone, I think this trip would have gone much differently. But yeah. Oh, I was also thinking of this. It was a comment, somebody on Reddit was talking about how they got into bird watching, and it allowed them to reconnect with their emotions, and they became more emotionally expressive. I guess it's very peaceful. You sit there in nature and you wait for the birds. And I guess that's the same thing as I've heard people talk about those singing bowls, even like doing it themselves. And it puts you in like a peaceful, relaxed state where you have to focus on the sounds. And you can finally stop rushing. And I think it does. It sort of like meditation, it makes you more emotionally expressive and open and allows you to reconnect with yourself as opposed to a closed off, like you're kind of not really shy, but you're just a little bit too quiet around people and you kind of hide yourself, which is really a shame, considering how short life is. But yeah, there's just not enough time in the day to do the stuff that I want to do, especially because I'm trying to eat, basically stuff my face for calories to maintain a certain weight. I'm trying to be around like 70 kilograms right now. I know most people have like the opposite problem, but I think from stress or whatever reason, or I was just kind of doing too many things at once, and then I don't really digest my food. But I found this one Japanese drink. It's called Mickey. It's the fermented rice and sweet potato. And it's really easy to make. You don't need like milk or yogurt. It's not like yogurt making where it's like kind of... I tried doing the fermented yogurt thing once, and it was like really... It was hard. Felt a lot harder to get it right. This Mickey, it's a lot easier. You boil the rice until it's like porridge with a lot of water, until like the rice kind of opens up. We tried to do the same thing in the old man's Airbnb in Connecticut to make mushrooms with the spores. And you feed the spores the grain where you like cook it with water until I think the grain is supposed to be like really like exploded, like really cooked thoroughly. I think we didn't cook it enough. That's why not a lot of mushrooms grew. But yeah, basically it's the same thing with the rice where you cook it until it's like really like porridge like texture. And then you mix it with sweet potato and then ferment it for about 24 hours. And then it becomes this like lacto B something bacterial acid, and it's good for digestion. But yeah, basically I'm going to the gym, and then I'm kind of torn between, like, I want to take care of myself, but I also I feel like there's a good yin yoga class, where I had this one really good teacher in San Francisco who had a yin yoga class, and I want to, maybe one day I could like teach a yin yoga class, and it would just be, she starts the class off with like not even only oming, but like om and and sounds that I've heard that they kind of activate, they like tone your vagus nerve, which is, I originally thought that was like down the back, but it's on the front side of your body, I believe. But yeah, I was thinking that maybe I could one day teach that class. I don't think it would be not necessarily too hard either, because it doesn't really change, and I don't think a lot of really variations that you need. And then I want to write down Larry's story. He's the old man in the Airbnb, before I forget them. It's basically, he has like a beautiful and intelligent, super intelligent wife, and he divorces her, or they get divorced. I'm not sure what happened exactly, but he ends up with alcoholic. She's also smart, but much younger, alcoholic. I guess she's into horses, and I don't know, it just seemed like a lot more chaos than what he originally had, so I've never really, made sense of it. And then he has all these like kind of these women who kind of float around. Well, he lives in a beautiful old colonial house on an old farmland, and there's a bunch of women that float around. So the book would be about the women, and it would be about this like ambiguity of why, it's not really like romantic relationships, I don't think, but there's like an ambiguity around it for some of them, and you're never really sure why, and it's always chaotic, and it doesn't really make sense, but it's kind of maybe it's kind of that the intertwinement of yin and yang, and of a woman and a man connecting. And also I think there's an element of trying to heal oneself through chaos. And well, the house itself attracts a lot of these chaotic types, either divorced and life's maybe not going great if you're divorced, or maybe some of them have alcohol problems, and that leads to some chaos as well. But I wanted to write all these stories down. I think it's a really good book. And then I guess that's it. I'm trying to learn Mandarin right now, and it's really, I don't know, there's just like a lot of things going on, and most people speak to me in English once I start talking. It's just a lot easier because most people understand at least a little bit of English, so I don't know, I'm trying that. And then I want to also make these vlog type videos. So yeah, that's it. I'll talk to you later.